This lecture is for Unit 4.02 for Computer Programming 2. And what we're going to do with this is we're going to teach you how to search an array. All right, so we have a guess the word game. It's a little bit like Hangman. We've got 6 tries to guess the word. So we say, it says display secret word blanks. Click on that and it shows how long our word is. And then you can make a guess. And since I wrote the program, I know what the word is, so I'm just going to go ahead and make some guesses here. You know what it is yet? Whoops. Now I will guess one that's wrong. If I guess one that's wrong, it's not going to show me, so I know it's wrong. But it is going to count it as a bad guess. So if I get 6 of them wrong, I'm going to lose. Hey, I won. Gargantuan, huge, humongous. All right, so let's get started on making the code for our program. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start with global variables. We're going to put those under the class. We need a string for the secret word. That was for my Gargation is what I set mine as. We're going to need a char so that they can guess, and I'm going to call mine guess. We're going to guess using one letter at a time. Let's go ahead and do a string array for not only the whole word, but what we're going to use in a string for, if we go here in our form, and when I clicked this, when I ran it and it had the dashes, that is what we need to, that's what that's going to be. And then when I make a guess, I go back in and I transform it so that I place the correct letter. So that's what that variable is for. And then we're also going to need the solution in a string format. I don't need to call those the same thing, so I'm going to put the string version of the solution array. That'll work. All right, and then we need 2 counts, one for bad guesses and one for good guesses. So I'm just going to call them those. Great. All right, we got a global variables. Let's initialize them. We're going to come down here. We want to take our secret word. And this is where you can set your secret word. You could have it as an input, which you may choose to do in your Hangman activity, but I'm just going to go ahead and assign it. And let's see, the other one that's not going to be set to default is the solution. And we're going to make that the length, that array of dashes is going to be the length of the secret word. And you can use length on that because it's a word, so it's kind of a form of an array. All right, so we've done that. Now, where should we start? I think the best place to start is to work on the method that is going to display the dashes. And so let's go ahead and write that. We're going to call that the solution string. That's what I'm going to call that method. And so I'm going to go below here. Actually, I'm going to go to the bottom of my program. Oh, there it is. I've already started it. Okay, so I've started it already. Public void make solution string. Don't pass anything in. Okay, so we're going to start out with a temporary string and initialize it to an empty string. Right, so we're making a string. We're going to use a for statement that's the length of the secret word. And every time we iterate through it, we're going to add to our string a dash for a letter and then a space as well. Right, so we need a for statement. All right, and it's going to need to be as long as our secret word length, because it has to iterate all the way through. All right. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take that string array, our solution string array at I, and we're going to set it equal to a dash. I don't want to use one dash. I'm going to use two. I just think it would give it, it's easier to visually understand. But we also need spaces between them, so I'm going to put a couple of spaces in between them as well. Okay, so we've got that going. Now we need to incorporate all of that, not only in an array, which we made, but we need to incorporate it in a string so we can send it to a text box. All right, so we're going to go here, and we're going to use our string for our whole word, and we're going to set it equal to the temp that we used. This is a great way to concatenate strings when you're going through a for statement. Okay, you're going to take the variable wherever it is in that word, and you're going to add it to temporary, which is empty right now. All right, and then you do the switcheroo, where you say the temporary now is equal to the solution string. Not make solution string. I must have capitalized that. Okay. All right, so that looks good so far. It's going to take that word and it's going to keep adding on to that solution string as it makes those dashes. All right, so now all we have to do is send it to the label that we have used to show the dashes, and that is going to be the secret word label. And that's going to be the text for the secret word. Oops. It's going to equal solution string. Okay. We're getting an error on solution string. Why are we getting an error on that? Okay, the reason it's not working is because in my head I got it confused. Maybe solution string would have been a better way to go, but I did string solution instead. So I should have used my IntelliSense. All right, so looks like we're done with that method. All right, once you've written the method, until you call it, it's not going to make any it's not going to do anything to your program. So we're going to go back here, and remember we made this solution string when we clicked on this button. So we're going to go here, and you need to type this in to call it make solution string. Okay, apparently I'd already typed that in. You need to go ahead and add that. Now we're going to test what we have so far. Okay, I'm going to run it. All I have to do is click the button. Ta-da! Great. All right, let's go to the next step. Okay, so let's look at where we need to go next. I think the next thing we need to do is, let's say we typed in our letter, and we're going to click here, and we need to check it. We need to check the guess that we just typed in. So let's go ahead and double click check guess. All right, and we're going to go ahead and do some top-down programming again, and we're going to call the check guess method. We haven't created it yet though, and it's going to be capitalized. All right, now all we have to do is make it. So we're going to come down to the bottom, and that's going to be public void, and we're going to call it check guess. And we have global variables, so we don't have to pass anything in. Okay, so when we're going to check our guess, one of the first things we're going to need to have is a variable, a Boolean, because we have to have something that's going to say, yes, they did guess correctly, or they didn't. We're going to call that found. We're going to set it to false. All right, then we're going to set the guess, which is char, equal to the text box guess dot text, and we're going to take that text at 0, just to make sure that is only one letter and thus a char. All right, so we won't get any kind of exception. All right, now we're also going to make a string temporary because we're going to need to do the switcheroo again. All right, now the first thing we're going to have to do is we're going to have to take the that secret word array, and we're going to have to see if we're going to compare it to the guess, and if that's the same, we're going to change the solution array to that guess. Okay, before we do that, we do need to make an assignment here for temp. That is an empty string, and it's not going to let me use it if it is not. I have my insert off, don't I? It's not going to let me use it if it's not assigned to. I'm struggling here. Okay, we set it assigned to 0. Okay, so we need a for statement that is going to be the length of our secret word, because that is what we're iterating through. Oops, what happened there? Okay. And I++. All right. Now, the first thing we're going to do is have to compare wherever we are. We're going to start at 0 in secret word, that index. We're going to look at that and compare it to the guess. And we're going to go on to the next one and compare it to guess. And if any of those match, we want to put that in our new solution array. And we also want to go ahead and change our solution string to be that, to add that to the solution string as well. All right, so we need an if statement. If the secret word at I equals, no, compared to, because we can't use equal, we have to use compared to guess. All right, if it equals 0, because if it's not, it's going to be -1. If it's equal, it's going to be 0. Okay, so if they're the same at any point in our for statement, what we need to do is add it to our solution. All right, so then solution at I, we're going to put it in that array, equals guess dot, and since it's a char, we're going to add it to string to transform it. Okay. And now we have to say, okay, they made a right guess, so we're going to increment our good guess count. That way we'll know when they win. All right, and we're also going, since they did find it, we're going to say that found is now equal to true. Now, we're going to add something here, and this is, we're going to add something, and we're going to say, oh, I misspelled something up here. I never pay attention to that red. You kind of get used to not paying attention to it when you, because sometimes it doesn't matter. Okay, got rid of my red, didn't use that IntelliSense, and did not use my camel case correctly. So I could go up here and change good guess to correct. And then I can just let IntelliSense correct it wherever it is in my program, just being a little picky. All right, and we're going to come down here. All right, great, no red. All right, so the next thing we need to do is we need to put an if statement, because this is where they get a guess right, all right? It could be the guess that actually makes them win the game. So if our good guess count is going to be the same length as the secret word, we know they win. This is a good place to put it. Okay, so good guess count, equals secret word length. Then we're going to tell them they won. And I happen to have a label for that. It's called endgame. It also tells them if they've lost, if they don't win. So, okay, we're going to say you win. We always like to have 3, right? All right. Now, all we have to do is add it to our solution string. We fixed our array. Now we're going to make our solution string correct. Okay, so why do I always do that? String solution is going to equal that temporary word, temp, which is going to be nothing right now, solution, and we're still in our for statement, solution at I. Okay, and then temp equals string solution. All right. Okay. Now, that's if they get it right. Now, this is a long method. Now we have to check to see if they get it wrong. Okay, so we're not quite done with their for statement. Okay, so if found equals false, meaning we will set it to false if they've got it wrong. Oh, it's going to be false. It's not going to be changed to true if they've got it wrong. Okay, so this is going to be an if statement. So if that is found, not font. Okay, so if they have not guessed the right word, we're going to increment our bad guess count, which is going to tell us if they've lost. All right, and now, like we did before, we said this is a good time to check if they've won. Same thing here. It's a good time to check if they've lost, since we know they just made an incorrect guess. Bad guess count equals, if the bad guess counts equals 6, because we told them that was in our rules, they get 6 tries. You could change that if you wanted. Then we're going to do the label in game as well. Label in game is not going to be as happy this time. No exclamation points. All right. Sorry, you lose. Okay. Looking back, I see there's an error with our for statement. We are missing brackets right now. Because of the way it's written, it's only going to execute one statement, and in this case it's a block because it's an if statement. But we need it to execute all the way down through the true response. Okay, so for is going to execute for all the things for true. So we're going to go here, and it's easily corrected. We're going to go here right before the if found equals false, and we're going to fix it like that. And I'm just going to go ahead and fix this because style is very important. If your style is not right, when somebody goes in to edit your program, they are going to be so messed up. One more thing to do, and that is to go ahead and what we've done in here is we've checked to see if it's right or wrong, but we've also combined the right answer. You know how when you typed in a right letter it popped up? All right, the only thing we need to do now is we need to put it back out in that label again. Okay, so we're going to go label, and we want the secret word label.text, and we need to set it to the new solution string, the one I always get backwards, which is now what we just said. It's mixed in dashes and I did it again. I even said I was going to get it right. It's string solution. Lord have mercy. All right. So now it's going to publish to that label, and it's going to have dashes in the correct letters after a guess. Okay. I think we're almost done. We're almost ready to test. The only thing we need to do is call this check guess. So we're going to come up here. I've already got it in there. You need to come to your button click for guess, and you're going to put a check guess in there. Just call the method. Let's go ahead and test it, and hopefully it will work. All right, we're going to display it, and I'm going to go ahead and see if I can guess it right. I have a feeling it's going to be just fine. Did you know what Gargantian meant before today's lecture? Probably. I won. All right, great. Now let me tell you, before we end this lecture, I want to just tell you something, and this is something that a lot of my students feel once they've done something a little bit complicated like that. They say, you know, I watched your lecture and I followed through, but if you asked me to do this on my own, I would not be able to. That's okay. I would not expect you at this point to be able to. Now, if some of you can, that is wonderful. Maybe you should teach the course, and some of you might could. All right, but most of you probably wouldn't expect you to be able to do this on your own. That's why I went through it together, because you're going to need it as a basis for your Hangman project. And hopefully, after today's lecture, you learned a little bit about how to use arrays and how to sort through arrays, and it's going to make it easier to do your Hangman. Good luck with that.